Hello and welcome back. Welcome to the very last video in this course. I gotta tell you, I'm super impressed. You do not know how many people start in video 1 and never make it through here to video 6. So congratulations, you're doing awesome work and learning more about your business. So I'm your host, Stephen Cox. I'm the founder of TakeLessons. Super happy to be with you today. Let's do a quick recap so far on what we've learned. So you have learned 4 acronyms that will help you measure your marketing. They include CAC, LTV, ROAS, and EPH. And then we went in depth on examples that could help you understand and calculate customer acquisition cost, lifetime value, and return on ad spend. Now, let's jump into session number 6, Understanding EPH. And at the end of this lecture, you're going to know 1, how to calculate EPH. 2, why calculating earnings per hour is actually important for your business. And then we're going to use examples of how to calculate EPH. So let's go ahead and get started. So what is EPH again? EPH stands for earnings per hour. EPH allows you to measure how much you're actually earning after expenses for your time. But you might say, Stephen, I already know how much I'm earning. I earn $50 an hour. Well, while that might be true that your student pays you $50 a session, that doesn't necessarily mean you're actually earning that amount. So what do I mean? Well, do you prepare for lessons? Do you make lesson plans? Do you find that certain channels require you to put in extra work before and after each lesson? If so, then the rate you're earning doesn't actually equal your hourly rate. You have to deduct your expenses and your time so that way you get your actual earnings. So the purpose in calculating EPH is so A, you can truly understand how much you're earning per hour per customer. Then you'll be able to determine which one of your customers are the most profitable for you. Finally, when you calculate EPH, you might find that certain students come from certain channels and they're more or less profitable than those that come from other channels. And when you know all these things, you can make better decisions. Now, let's show you how to calculate EPH. To calculate EPH, first determine how much you're charging per hour. Then, add up all the time you're spending before, during, and after the session. Add in all your time for things that you do outside of the lessons, things like writing lesson plans, communicating in between the sessions, whether it be through email, text, phone, what have you. Writing lesson summaries at the end. Any associated paperwork that you're doing, basically anything that you do extra that takes your time should be counted here. And now that you have your fee per hour and the number of hours associated with that session, you can now calculate your EPH by simply dividing your rate per hour by the number of hours you spent. So let's walk through an example. Let's visit Aaron again. Originally from Europe, Aaron studied music performance at Berklee School of Music. He now lives in Atlanta and teaches guitar and French, both online as well as in person. Aaron is an independent contractor at a local language school. And for this example, let's assume Aaron makes $50 an hour. And for each language session, it's 1 hour long. So in essence, he's making $50 an hour. For the language school students, Aaron produces lesson plans, and then he writes up homework for his French students as well. That takes 30 minutes before the class and another 15 minutes after the class. Also, the school is across town, so it takes him a total of 45 minutes to drive back and forth. To make it simple, let's assume Aaron has one class with a single student. Aaron earns $50 for that hour session. Well, how much time did he actually spend? Well, he spent 1 hour for the session, 45 minutes for the lesson plans, and then another 45 minutes for driving back and forth. So Aaron is actually devoting 2.5 hours for each session. So to calculate Aaron's earnings per hour, divide his $50 earned by 2.5 hours, and you get an EPH earnings per hour of $20. Let's walk through another example. Aaron also teaches online in his home studio. He charges $40 an hour. Aaron also produces a lesson plan and also writes up homework for his students. But because he uses a streamlined format with less overhead than that of the school, this portion takes up a total of 30 additional minutes instead of 45. So we see that Aaron appears to make less on the front end, right? Only $40 an hour, but you have to calculate in. He doesn't have any driving time, and he streamlined his own lesson plans because he's the boss. So instead of his class eating up 2.5 hours, each class totals only 1.5 hours of his time. So to calculate Aaron's earnings per hour, we divide $40 by 1.5 hours, and you get an earnings per hour of $26.67. So even though Aaron was charging less for online lessons, he's actually making 33% more per class in his earnings. He earns almost $27 an hour instead of the $20. So what's the takeaway? Well, from the example, you can see why it pays for you to calculate your true EPH. You may find that some customers may be less profitable for you than other customers, or perhaps some channels may work better for you. The only way you really know is if you take the time to calculate your earnings per hour on a student-by-student basis. You can even take things a step further and look at your EPH by channel as well. What do we mean by channel? Again, it's just a place where you might pull in students. And what you may find is that certain channels produce better than other channels. Simply take the average EPH for all the students from a particular channel and then compare the averages against other channels. It's super handy if you're working, say, at a music store or do local driving. What you can do is you can see just how much you're earning when you add up all of your time together per channel. So the simple rule is that you want to make sure that you're earning your worth, and the way you do that is by knowing your actual time that you're spending. If you're not getting paid your worth, you might consider A, raising your prices, or B, looking for a different channel that produces more profitable customers. Always remember that these calculations simply provide direction and signals. It's up to you to interpret the information and then make the business decisions that's right for your business. Okay, so let's summarize on what we learned today about EPH. What is EPH again? Well, EPH stands for earnings per hour. EPH allows you to measure your true earnings per hour for each customer. This is really important because it lets you see just how much you're actually earning on a customer-by-customer basis. Then you can determine whether your price is fair or perhaps too low. So here's your assignment for the day. What I'd like you to do is this week, starting tomorrow, keep track of each customer and determine your EPH for each single one. You may find that kids are better for you, or that your sweet spot is adults. You may find that traveling is just simply cost-prohibitive for you, or that you need to raise your prices for online lessons. Again, keep track of all the time you spend prepping for that student, both before and after the lesson. Add in your travel time or any other time that you're spending with the student or getting ready for the class, and then calculate your earnings per hour. Now, to make it easier for you, I've created an earnings per hour cheat sheet that you can use. And with this sheet, you're going to be able to keep track and calculate your EPH for all of your students. You can find it here at this URL. Just go to tinyurl.com/measureyourmarketing. That's tinyurl.com/measureyourmarketing. Congratulations, you made it through the entire course. You really deserve a huge high five, pat on the back, big oh yeah, go ahead. I just gave you a high five. Give yourself a high five, boom, boom. So again, most people who start this course never finish it. Most instructors end up never completing the training, and then they wonder why they aren't seeing results. It's only through mastery of the business concepts that you can turn from surviving to thriving. So congrats again. I'm super proud of you, and I'm proud of your commitment that you made to the process. So let's quickly recap what we've learned in this course. First, you learned the 4 acronyms that will help you measure your marketing. They include CAC, LTV, ROAS, and EPH. You learned about what a marketing channel was. And then we went in depth on examples to help you understand and calculate each one. You now understand how to compare different marketing channels and how you can determine the channels that are the most profitable for your business. You now have the tools to ensure that you are increasing the lifetime value while lowering your cost of acquisition. Those are marketing terms for you. You've also learned how to make sure that your advertising spending is the most profitable. And finally, you can now see just how much you're earning per hour. Wow, I know it was a lot of math, I understand. And truthfully, most instructors won't do the work, but I encourage you to take the time to master your marketing. Go through these videos again and again, and it's only through repetition that you turn learning into mastery. Also remember that I've created a very special set of tools for you. Use them. They'll save you time and help you calculate each one of these marketing metrics. You can find it here at tinyurl.com/measureyourmarketing. That's tinyurl.com/measureyourmarketing. And finally, if you're a great instructor, I encourage you to check us out at TakeLessons.com. I know you'd get a ton of value out of the site, not only in just being able to earn extra income, but also being able to network in a community of like-minded peers. So see if you qualify by going to TakeLessons.com/teachers. And if you're already a partner with us, we appreciate you. Thanks so much for watching. Well, that's a wrap. It's great spending time with you. I really hope that you stay in touch. Let's do it again soon and keep changing the world.